It's Marks the Driller, bullet. Come on. And today, I'm going to be giving you a tier list of who I think is going to win the league. I'm going to not just be doing the Premier League, I'm going to be doing the Prem, Serie A, Eredivisie, Bundesliga, French League. Who's the other one? La Liga. So I'm going to be doing all those top six leagues, essentially, and say who I think is going to win the league, who has a chance to win the league, and who is definitely not going to win the league. Okay, so kicking it off, I'm going to start with Feyenoord. See, now Feyenoord this season, they have been fantastic. Well, I'd say more because Ajax have been kind of under par. After Ten Hag leaving, they've been a bit, not that good. Same with in the Champions League this year, they weren't that good either, to be honest with you. And in the league, I think they're only behind by about 3 points, to be fair. But for Ajax, for a team that has been dominating that league for years and years and years, Feyenoord are showing them who's boss. To be fair, Feyenoord did win it in the 2016-2017 season, but that's still maybe, how long is that? 6-7 years ago? I think they might be able to do it this year, again, but it's still a maybe for me. I would say Ajax will eventually climb through and win the league. So for me, I'm going to put Feyenoord have a chance, but I'm going to give Ajax still the league leaders. I mean, they do have a big chance to win it this year, but we'll see. They've got the bright young prospect of Orkan Kopçu, who's on 9 goals this season. He's doing very well. And his contract runs out in 2024, so at the end of the year, they might want to cash in and get some money for him. It would be the smart option. I know other teams like Arsenal wanted him at one point. I'm not too sure now. I think their team is pretty solid attacking wise, especially since they got Trossard in. Jesus is coming back, and obviously they got Balogun on loan. So that's for the first league there. Now for the Premier League, the best league in the world. So this year, the Prem has been a bit different. Arsenal have shown their class under Arteta. I won't deny. I wish Chelsea could do the same, but hey, here we are spending all this money doing nothing. Gets like that. But either way, for me, will Arsenal win the league? It's a big maybe for me. I mean, they've definitely been the best team in the league, hands down. But I think it's more come down to City been a bit off par, if I'm honest with you. This year, they've been scoring goals, obviously, like City will always do. Well, more Haaland's been scoring goals. Foden's had a good couple games here and there. He hasn't really been, good for the whole season like he usually is. Mahrez has been good this season when he plays. Pep loves to rotate the team. So, but for me, will Arsenal win the league? You know what? I think they'll do it. Just for this year of City just not where they should be, essentially. I think it's come down a lot to them selling Zinchenko to Arsenal. Crazy. Selling Jesus to Arsenal as well. And then selling Sterling to Chelsea, which I think selling all three of them was a bit of a crazy thing for Pep to do. I feel like he's really taken a lot of pace out of his team into the attacking third. Because now he's got Foden, who's more of a dribbler. Mahrez, a dribbler. Who else have they got on that wing? I can't even think of anyone else. I know Alvarez plays sort of cam. He's a striker. So I feel like they've lost that sort of pace that they used to have. And they don't really score those like tapping goals that City used to always do. And I feel like that's a shame down to them letting Sterling go and Jesus for sure. And then their season has gone even worse by letting Cancelo go. How did they let Cancelo go? Crazy. I understand he wasn't getting on with Pep, was being a bit extra in the changing room, but Cancelo was arguably the best fullback last season. This year he wasn't as great. He didn't play too much in the Euros either. Understandable, but to let him go, I thought was a crazy idea. Walker's been pretty injury prone as well, so City's gonna have a chance for me. And now the other team I put in there was Manchester United. See, everyone was raving about Manchester United, how amazing they were doing lately. I mean, it's all come down to Rashford. Without Rashford, I can't lie, they're going to be where Chelsea is. They'll be about 10th because without Rashford, that's where all their goals come from. They get a couple nice goals here and there from Antony or maybe Bruno. I won't deny it, but for me, And especially after that 7-0 loss to Liverpool. 7-0. How have they done that? It's crazy. So for me, United have no chance of winning the league. No chance at all. No chance. And now moving on, I think I'll go to France next. And I didn't even bother put another team in France on my list, to be honest with you. I don't think any other team in France has a chance of winning the league this year. PSG win it basically every year. Fair enough to Lille for winning it, 2 years ago, but I don't see anyone else but PSG winning it. I think they're about 9-10 points ahead of anyone else. The league's theirs. I don't think they're going to win Champions League, to be fair. We've got the classic, Neymar out in March again. You know how it goes. The usual stuff with PSG. They've always got 20 other million things going on that I think distracts them from the football. I saw the other day they had fans coming up to the training pitch, getting at the team for playing bad, which is fair enough. You can do that, but I feel like that's all a bit much. You're not going to see all 100 people turning up to bloody Cobham when Chelsea are playing bad. But hey, that's how PSG go. Anyway, on to the next team. We're going to go to La Liga. See, now, La Liga this year, I feel like everyone knew, as usual, Barca Real were going to win it. But what I've been very surprised about this year is how below par Real have been. They've sort of done a City, in my opinion. They let Casemiro go, which was a terrible decision. I can tell they're feeling it a lot this season now. To be fair, they've been great in the Champions League, like usual. But in the league, they've just been letting Barca just have their way with it, to be honest with you. I think they're 9 points ahead as well. I just don't see Real catching up to them. They just keep dropping points on games all the time. In February, they lost to Mallorca 1-0. And then their last game, Real Betis, they drew. So they're just dropping points. And then the match before, was it after that? They played Barca in the Copa del Rey. And they lost 1-0 at home. And Barca didn't have who? Pedri. I don't think they had Lewandowski, Dembele. And they still beat Real. So for me, Real have no chance of winning the league, personally. No chance. No chance at all. And let's move on to how great Barca have been. Performances from Barca in the league have been outstanding. They've conceded only 8 goals. 8 goals! Which is crazy, considering in the Europa League, they've conceded more than 8 goals. So, they are on their way to win the league for sure. Without a doubt. Pedri has been amazing for them this year. In my opinion, he's been their best player. Obviously, Lewandowski brings in the goals. Obviously, and the defense has been impeccable. So for me, I'm going to put Barca to win the league. Now for our next league, which I think is a pretty easy one to go for as well, and that is Serie A. Serie A this year has been, I guess, a bit confusing to an extent. They've had a lot going on. Juve were in the Champions League spot, got deducted 15 points. I don't see them getting top 4 at all now. They might be able to get Europa, but it might look like a Conference League thing, to be fair. Because that Serie A table is tight. Very tight. Well, except from Napoli. Napoli are about, 15 points ahead from second. I think it's Inter or AC at the time. And the rest of the other teams, they're all very close to each other. I say from about second to about fifth, there's about 5 points between them. So getting Champions League this year is going to be very tough. But for Napoli, they are laughing. This is going to be their first Scudetto since the 1980 to 90 season with Maradona. So this is a big thing for them, a very big thing. And the crazy thing at that, they have been instrumental in the Champions League. They scored, 5 goals against Liverpool? They're on amazing things. I think they scored about 15 goals in their 5 group stage games. So they could even win that, to be honest with you. Because Bayern don't look the best this season. PSG don't. And neither do City. And they're probably the 3 top favourites to win it. So Napoli could do a crazy stuff this year and win their Champions League and the league and get the double. But for now, I'll put them as they're going to win the league. I don't see anyone else even coming close to them. The league's finished. I think Napoli know they've got the league. They've only got 2 losses as well. It's crazy. 2 losses, 2 draws, and the rest of them are wins. They've got the league. Now, on to the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga this year has been crazy at the top. It has been crazy. You've got your top 3 teams, as I've shown down there, Bayern, Dortmund, and Berlin. What can I say about Dortmund? Dortmund have been amazing since January. I don't think they've lost a game. They haven't drawn a game. They've won every single match. Every game for Dortmund, which is quite amazing considering they've been a bit, they're not that good defensively usually. They let in a lot of goals, but usually they do score a lot. But it seems lately they have fixed that problem and they've just been scoring goals. Julian Brandt, last month in February was amazing. He done a lot of stuff for them. So for me, do I think Dortmund are going to win the league? I'm going to have to say no. I don't think they will. I feel like they've got a chance to win the league. They do. But that's about it. I said they've got the chance to win it. If they keep up this fantastic form, because Bayern have been below par this season as well, they could win the league. I won't deny they could. And all this stuff with Neuer being out, breaking his leg. But to be fair, they got Jan Sommer in, who is an amazing goalkeeper. I think he's got the most saves in a match before. I think it might even be ever, but I know it's in Bundesliga. He made about 20 saves against Bayern. I think it was last season, And so, yeah, Bayern thought his contract's done at the end of the season. Let's get him for a nice. I think they got him for about 5 mil or something. Maybe even something less than that. But anyway, yeah, they got a new goalkeeper in, so they can't complain. Now, on to Union Berlin. Union Berlin have been a dark horse this season. They have been fantastic. They haven't been scoring a lot of goals, but they have not been conceding a lot of goals, which has helped them a lot. They've got quite a few games where they've won 1-0 or 2-0 or 2-1, but that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you win your game, you win your game. And for Berlin, this is fantastic, considering a couple of years ago, they were in the second tier of German football. Well, before that, they're even in the 3rd tier. So props out to Union Berlin, but I don't see them winning the league. They, I think they'll finish this year in the Champions League spot for sure, because they are the top 3 teams. I'm not even sure who's in 4th, but they are the top 3 teams. I don't see them crashing down that bad from how good they've been this year. So I'll say no chance for Union Berlin. And for Bayern, yes, obviously, I think Bayern will win the league. I think they will do a little comeback and get back to the top. Classic how Bayern do. I feel like they've got such great players. The class in their team is just amazing. It's best in their league, without a doubt. I just think, who else is it going to be? It would be great if someone else won the league, like Dortmund or Berlin, obviously. To stop Bayern keeping up. How many years have they won it now? I think 10 years in a row, something crazy like that. Maybe even a bit longer. So it would be nice for someone else to win it. But I don't see it happening. Personally. I feel like if Mane plays a bit better, he hasn't been the best this season, but that's all they need, really. A couple more players stepping up a bit, and I think that'll happen closer to the end of the season. Have a little shout out to Choupo-Moting, who has been class for Bayern Munich, even though everyone says he's not really up to that caliber, which I will slightly agree. But the thing about Choupo-Moting is he always pulls out some great games. He really does. He done it last year against PSG as well in the Champions League. He just pulls it out. I don't know how he does it, but you can't not hate Choupo-Moting. And considering he used to be at Stoke years ago, to go to PSG and to Bayern and to pretty much be their first team striker is fantastic for him. So for me, Bayern are going to win the league. Simple as. Well, thanks for coming to watch my first video. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you for the next one. Boop, boop.